if an intersex person comes and tells me I identify as a he, ina make perfect sense because they literally have to choose which side they identify with. Lakini mtu amezaliwa hii design ingine, kuna watu wanasema Republicans wanasema it's a mental disorder. You know, that's how Republicans claim and I actually feel like it's a mental disorder. Like una need medicine more than.
I'll say this. From the evidence that has been presented by people who've studied in all these different areas, as far as I've read, I do not know enough for me to be like, these people can't do this or they.
Do enough.
But what I do know, it's very hard for us as people to find a way to accommodate people who we do not understand their lives. So mimi na feelingi, in a way, in the least way I can make your life, like I should make your life less difficult. That's just on my part. I don't know how to fix any of the issues, but staki nika ukiamka kila siku ko pana bana, like I can't
pia mimi the same, like I would never go out of my way. Utai nipata kwa post yote nikibonga juu ya how kubash 1 2 3 but the only thing pia mina principles zangu the same principles zile sema siwezi sema Jesus is Lord the same way I can't say Jesus is Lord. I can never siwezi ita Charlie dem na siwezi ita dem Charlie. Me, like if I know you are whatever you are packing, what you are assigned at birth, I'm going with that because that's what nature tells me, that women get pregnant, men don't, women menstruate, men don't. Unajua, so naenda na hizo principles. Inaweza kama hate, but si hate ni ile tu reality na feel nika tukishafungua that door, it becomes a Pandora's, like, because try to think of watoi vile nimesema me at 11 sikuwa najua anything juu ya nini, but saizi naona mpaka watu watoi wadogo wanavalishwa. Umeona mtoi wa nani? Mtoi wa Charlize Theron anavalishwa like a kid.
But she has 2 daughters.
Those are boys. Those black kids.
They're daughters.
Those 2 black kids.
Yes.
What genitalia do they have? What?
She has daughters. Ni watoto madem anawanyanga nywele tu.
So sima boy?
No, they're actually girls.
They're actually okay.
Hata mimi nilishtuka cause like mimi najua aliadopt 2 girls.
Not boys. Cause mimi kwa nasikia watu wanasema wale ni maboy wamevalishwa nguo za madem.
Hata mimi nilikuwa nashtuka cause like I didn't think ndio kuna I'll say this 100%, there are people who are extremists. They're like I'll raise my kid this way so they can be part of this marginalized group. Watu wana exist. It's not yet completely out of our depth, but kuna watu wenye honestly ni kuatakiwa tu. For real. I am very aware that sio kila mtu ati ako out here looking out for the best interests of their children. Kuna watu they have their own agenda. I will not refuse. Na wako on every single side of the spectrum. Kenye nitasema ni we're also like very quick to be clickbaited.
Okay.
Juu mimi nilienda niko like mimi nilijua alipata aliadopt to madem.
So niliona picha niko me, I knew they were boys because I was actually pissed because I was like, number one, apart from being boys, ni black kids. Alafu najuanga them emasculation of the black man. Them nitangwa nini hiyo So I was like,
do you feel like that's an actual thing?
Kuna vile like you see the black man is always classified as dangerous. You know that? Like if you are in any situation, we'll be the ones who are expected to be aggressive, expected to be rational, expected to be what. So if right now there was a robbery anywhere and Nini came like we're in a foreign country, even if it's an Arab country and there's a robbery and an Arab cop shows up with a gun, the black person is going to be the first suspect. But historically, if you went through history, you'd find out that we are the least likely to steal, the least likely to kill, the least likely to. So it's the opposite yetu is what's represented out there. We are represented as the most dangerous people. So everywhere that we walk, we have to go with a certain. So now, of course, if a man decides to wear, a black man decides to wear a skirt and act feminine, there are people who are going to maybe think he's less aggressive than a straight blackmail and what so yes, to that degree I feel like yes, and that's why unachek even utapata like when they come hapa Africa utapata like that's an agenda, like let's do this rights, even watatry kupush hiyo cause they don't want the aggressive black dude, they want this more feminine black man. But pure masculinity is also controlled in its own way. It comes with a certain level of security, like even when we started the show I was talking about weak men, because I always feel like anyone who feels that women have any sort of advantages over men is me. I don't care that the fact that someone can use their beauty their sex sexual organs to move from one point to the next.
Yeah,
that's just the reality of life.
unfortunately.
Yeah. So siwezi juu kuna dem alikuwa msupu alafu ama alikuwa ho alafu akatoka hapa ama mpaka pale ama amefungua OnlyFans, hiyo inihusu me. I still look at the advantages I get as a man.
Yeah.
So I have that. So because nimeona pia nini one thing I didn't mention was I think there was a study that was done, and the study showed that some of the most popular podcasts in the world are the podcasts that bash women ama have gender wars.
Yeah.
Understand?
That's so sad.
So yes, they're some of the most popular. So you'll find the reason, like mtu kama Kevin Samuels, the reason he was that level was because at some point he'd like diss
he had
women.
like a whole thing about
Yes, he'd
bashing.
diss women. Ukiangalia pa tu locally based yetu like Kibe, one of the reasons he's reached that level is because of that. So it's a very interesting podcast phenomenon, and it's actually a comedian who made me realize. Unajua Ryan Davis, that comedian?
I don't think I know Randy.
Yeah, so there's this comedian called Ryan Davis. So he always does this short thing. So alifanya jua kitu alafu nikakuwa like, wow, this is actually true. That these podcasts always have this male versus female thing. Kusa kuna moja ile niliwatch, and it was a very sad watch. So it was a girl seated there, and she's asked like, what do you do? And she's like, I'm a performer. Akasema wapi? OnlyFans. Like, but what did you study? The girl was like, I studied philosophy. Then akaambiwa like, so nataka mtoi wako siku moja akigrow up ambiwe mama yake angekuwa philosopher lakini akaamua kuwa malaya. Natumia Kiswahili juu unajua hii algorithm yetu siku hizi haitupendi. So and I was there and I was sad even for the girl, because I was there like, why did you go to that show? Like, why?
Yeah.
And I was also sad because I know like the amount of support that's going to get. Well, that's the reality of life. So yeah. So
the photo was of her son Jackson, adopted. The photo ilichukuliwa when the kid was 3 years old.
Hana 2 daughters.
It's a son. It's boys.
It's a son.
She dresses the boys as girls.
Yeah, so alisema,
and to me that's
from the age of 3 the son started identifying as
how I've been with my daughter here and it's never been, you know, and to me it's a crime against humanity to deny.
She had 2 daughters for real.
Yeah, to me could deny a boy. I don't know what it means to deny a girl her femininity, which I also think would be a crime against humanity. But having lived as a dude, to deny me that, like I'd hate you, like naweza kuwa like and maybe mtoi wangu uzuri kabisa ana gender dysphoria because she identifies as a girl. She's very tribal about girls. I think umemeet umeona. She's very she's so proud of being a girl. And kitu fani na yeye ni as soon as suonaga kitu yote kwa TV ile inaweza fanya anze question reality, we switch off ama we whatever, because we want her to go there the natural way. Kitambo there was not, because right now TV is confusing. Tunaweza agree on that. Like if you watch TV,
I think a lot of
TV can confuse
it's
you.
overwhelming for like a lot of kids. Like a kids show should just be a kids show. I agree ile like it's just supposed to be fun and engaging on that level, because like it's a child. They should just be able to like watch something without it having to become a think piece for them. Yo, I 100% agree.
So mtu ya 3 years old anaweza identify as something. Now let's go back to you, because umesikia vile Shaliz amesema
Amesema it was an old photo.
Honestly, I really thought like she had 2 daughters. Like I've
No,
always known
it's
she has
boys.
2 daughters. I'm thinking about Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie has
Angelina
a bunch of
Jolie
them.
a bunch of daughters. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of Angelina Jolie. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'll say I do not have a child of my own. And I do not... I've met 3-year-olds. They're mostly busy doing nonsense.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll wear like viatu ya mamake kwenda kufungua mlango, but I don't think that has anything to do with gender.
Yeah. And you see, alafu, if you are raised by a woman and you are a boy, of course you'll pick up some feminine tendencies. You know that it's natural. It's nature. Nature and nurture.
One of my favorite comedians, anaitwa Andy Haynes. He was raised, I think, by a single mom. Like his dad was in his life, yes, but he mostly spent his time with his mom. And he's like, I have like some feminine qualities, but I think that just makes me more of a man, because I understand like how much my mom had to go through to raise me and everything. So I'll say this again. I don't think I have enough information to like have certain discussions. Just I think I'm kind of like a Bilba person. I'm not against anyone until I have enough information to have the conversation. But I think some things, again, like I don't know if a kid has enough in them to have like certain conversations.
Like
like be in certain rooms. And they are very impressionable too. So
I fall in the group of men who spend too much time with their kids. Because I heard that's also a bad thing. I've heard people be like, as a man, you have to be rare. You can't be just there for your kids. So I've heard that nonsense. Yes.
Ridiculous.
So I think that nonsense was said by Andrew Tate. I think, if I'm not... And I understand fathers who don't spend time with their kids. You're out there hustling. So I understand. So sisi wote tunaweza kuwa the same. But having spent time na umtoi, kitu moja ile najua ni gender and whatever is not even in her vocabulary. This kid just wants to play. She wants to ride a bike, swim, play with her girlfriends. Like, she enjoys being around ama beste wake madem more than nini, but still has like the way she learned riding a bike alifundishwa na boy fulani aitwa Ahmed. That's how my kid learned nini. And these are just kids. Like, even when I look at them hivi wakicheza, it's just kids. I don't think gender and whatever. So can you understand why is this gender euphoria ama gender just happening, dysphoria happening in America more than like Africa? Kwa nini Africa uski like in some random village in Kakamega there's a boy identifying as a girl, like a little boy? Because when it's adults I understand, but kids, 3-year-olds,
I'll say again, me, to your point, there's... You see, America is kind of like a microscope. It's been magnified and magnified. They're in our face almost every single day. It's very hard not to interact with American culture online, offline. It's very hard. But there are places like Asia where these people exist. And there's places where people have been treated very badly. There are people who've been genocided because of like the way they are. And then there are places where people have just accepted that there's like people who are very into drag culture. They love costumes, they love to perform. That's a thing for them. It has nothing to do with how they identify in their gender. And then there are people who... There's like a whole lady boys. I'm sure, I think it's Thailand or in the Philippines, where there's just a whole street of them. That's where they drag.
I know. I only depressed. There's once I was depressed. Because there's this one he was okay. I don't know how they identify those ones. So like huku like had done a boob job. So I'm there like, oh, that's nice. And then the whole facial thing, then they stood up like this electronelion and go like, it was scary. What to talk about? To go back to comedy. So how has comedy been? Because a few weeks ago kulikuwa na the whole debate about stand-up comedy hapa Kenya. So we won't get into that.
Debates za online utazana na Kenyans on Twitter kweli.
So How is it right now, stand-up comedy kwa hii nchi?
I think we're thriving. We're in spaces where I'll say, okay, let me like tier it. There are people who've been in the industry for a very long time. People who we used to see on Churchill, and then they went on to have their own careers. People who started in TV, kama kina Njugush, and then they went to have their own careers. And it's good that we have comedians who are willing to, quote unquote, fail to get to the next level.
Yeah.
Because like Njugush is phenomenal. Like he's very good at satire. He's very good at acting. That's a niche that he's developed over time. Right now, it's second nature to him.
Yeah.
If he wants to expand a little bit and go into like stand-up comedy, bro, your space need difficult because I work in that particular space. I'm on a stage at least every single week. And there's days you go up there, watu wanacheka. Kuna shikanga hivi mic watu wanakuangalia hivi hadi unaanza kuquestion existence yako. And that doesn't mean you're a bad comedian. It just means you're willing, like being a stand-up comedian is about being willing to fail as people watch. Most jobs unakuanga hapo nyuma ukimistype hakuna mtu mwenye anakuangalia unless boss wako anataka usimame umsalimie. But like most times when you're failing, no one gets to see you fail. They only get to see when you're perfect. But as a comedian, you have to be willing to have those moments where you're not doing the best, but you're still willing to still show up and do the work.
Yeah.
So I'll say for top level comedy, maybe there's some work that needs to be done for people to get to that space where it's like, oh yeah, they can do this. I went to watch them. It was really awesome. But Kenya, comedy culture kwanza inahitaji comedy clubs.
Yeah.
In the ones I work in, I think we only have like 3, which is kidogo.
Yeah, najua.
And then we're out here, we're trying to make people laugh. We don't get enough stage time. Sometimes juu ya maandamano, you can only get up on stage for like 2 days. And if you're not perfecting a beat, by the time tu anakuona maybe alikuona kama the beat was just starting out. Akiona maybe like 2 or 3 months from now, it's going to be like really good. And Kenyans don't allow you space to fail. They don't think that's acceptable.
Yeah.
Like just right off the gate, you should be the funniest person we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And that's not how anything
Because hakuna hiyo comedy club culture.
Yeah.
I think.
Ukienda US, comedy club culture ni like ingrained. Like every city has at least 6 to up to 20, depending on where you live. Yeah.
Because I remember like ile nini like one time nilikuwaga New York sijaisahau, but I was walking kwa streets and there was this guy standing in the street and I could stop, like, we have open mic tonight, comedy, come try as a random, you're just walking, someone tells you as a random person kuja ujaribu. And you try and imagine how many careers spring from that, because there are a lot of people who are there like, you know what, that's a sign. I think I'm funny, let me go on stage.
And there's a platform.
Yeah. But Kenya, I think kuna level fulani ya hasira tuko nayo, alafu we're just frustrated in a life where nothing is good enough, our music is not good enough, our comedy is not good enough. The funny thing is, it's always art that's not good enough. Our politics is good enough.
Oh my God. And
but our art is never good enough.
Hate artists. Like there's like a nikama, it's so personal. Like someone will online for real tell you your music is trash. You're never going to get anywhere. That person doesn't even know you. But they have the audacity kukwambia hata hiyo podcast yako zima mic. Like they have such an immense hate. Especially for something that they themselves can't do. Na me, up until I started working in the industry, maybe there's a part of my brain that held your kind of disdain. Juicy kwa maybe in those spaces like that. But I saw my friends who used to do poetry, spoken word, and I would see how hard they worked. And I'm like, that's not something you just do out of nowhere. It's practice. It's iyo, again, willingness to ya kufail. Jundo mtu, kuna mtu alikuwa ameandika comment ati when you see Trevor Noah, he has writers. And Nico, that's not true. Do you know how hard Trevor Noah has to work to even get to the level where his own material holds? It's his
stand-up is his stand-up. Then the Daily Show has writers.
The Daily Show and people don't know how to differentiate that. So because me ni writer, naandika satire kila siku and I'm always looking to improve because zingine naandikanga joke niko hii but
this one is
and sometimes I do stuff and it doesn't work. Sometimes I do like something maybe I didn't think about. It's like the funniest thing, people engage with it, they love it, and you don't see that reception for a while. Like people forget about you. But you have uko hapo but you're still working.
Kuzimenikumbusha kuna hii nini I've not put it for some time. Kuna hii t-shirt to advertise Iko Nini nitwa Kajitombe. So this Kajitombe, it's just something that I came up with. It was more of like, if you feel like I've done something that doesn't make you happy, you can go wait for me in a place called Kajitombe. You see, and I feel like Kajitombe is even very subtle because the one person who knows how to deal with Kenyans, I don't know, your story, like this dude, if there's something you can learn from him, it's how to deal with Kenyans. It's Andrew Kibe. I've seen 2 Andrew Kibe incidences that were content creators gold. The first one was very innocent. Someone just alienda kwa nini see his live, ameingia kwa live alafu mtu akamwandikia like hey, I never used to like you but now I like your show nini, and then this dude just saw that and was like, you never used to like me, who cares? Kwenda huko, sikuja kuniambia you never used to like me. I don't care if you like me or not, kwenda huko. So there was that. Alafu kuna ingine ya majuzi ilikuwa nini, ya majuzi was him saying that just because you are his fan, he does not owe you anything. So if you meet me on the streets, don't even say hi to me. Ati tupitane tu tukipata na online tunamaliziana hapo. Usilete ujinga cause kuna kuwaga na hii entitlement that happens even for a podcast like Iko Nini. There is a certain entitlement that you find with a few fans who are not even the true hardcore fans. Because with podcasts you have the hardcore fans.
Every
you know those
day.
ones who watch every episode, every minute,
recommend to people.
Alafu kuna wale kujaga maybe because there's a guest, so that's when they'll watch. Ama kuna wale na kujaga maybe because maybe kuna the weekend update, you could just strictly for the weekend update. So you have those ones. Those ones are not the hardcore fans. Mi nabonga juu yate
daily
have started since hata kali to discover episode 99, they went to episode 1 started
kila kitu.
Yes. So those ones normally hakuagi disrespectful, hakuagi, they have a certain level of respect they have. And then kuna wengine paka they threaten you. Kuna moja aliniambiaga like, if you don't stop mocking religion, I'm going to unsubscribe. Kwambia like, Buddha jo kuna place naitwa Kajitombe, ishia Buddha. And you're there. Alafu unaona like they actually
don't forget to unsubscribe.
Unapata mtu yuko surprised that umemwambia ishie kwa amini hapo unataka support yetu like Buddha kuna watu wana support na do wewe hakuna kitu na weta ishia. So I think nani knows how to deal with. Now if you live as a comedian, if you could watch him whatever, I'm sure you can get ways of how to deal with that troll. That dude handles it like majuzi ya nini. I don't know what someone had said. I think someone had said something like they've just discovered him. Kitu kama hiyo like, I've just discovered you and I really like your shows. Do you now I've just discovered you and everything they used to say about you was wrong. And he was like, who cares what they used to say? Asa now he was like, now ukipata na mimi kwa streets hata usinisalimi like kwenda huko. And I was there like, this is how to deal with Kenyans because kuna that sort of entitlement that does not help anyone.
I agree with you because one of the weirdest comments I usually get on like my show is like, ati finally a woman with brains sio tu kila siku kutwerk. And I'm always tempted to write there, do you know how much money I would make if I could twerk and do the news? I would just be like rolling in money because like that's such an intersection yenye sijui kuunlock. I think I would make so much money if I could twerk and do the news. But that's not who I am, and it doesn't lessen like I need bambi ukilesen another person. If you don't like their work, it's okay. You don't want to watch women twerking all the time. That's on you. But also you can't fanya your transference at I think you're so much better. You can just enjoy my stuff without having to like bash other people. I think it's unnecessary.
because mi ndio nasemaga like kuna the even fans I see who claim they're day ones. I'm like, you're not a day one. I know the day ones.
Unajua day ones.
The day ones, like damn, even like when something doesn't happen, they tell you about even a show that you forgot about, that you talked about something that whatever, and you're like, I said that, okay, damn, say and they'll never be disrespectful, they'll never be what, lakini sasa now you have that pure Kenyan fan, unajua na dharau art anadharau content, anadharau what, so akikuwatch anaonekana kufanyia favor na through your favor anafeel ni kama kuna mpaka wale utetaga saa hizi ma ads zenyu zimeanza kubo kwa hapa juu ya ads ushainitolea hata shilingi unajua mtu amenitolea shilingi akiniambia ads zimeanza kubonda kwa leo sorry
maybe
like
so like una consider
so I feel like our nini our for nyinyi comedy since you're on stage you'll feel their wrath more than sisi but they exist everywhere.
I think the screen kind of protects you because at least you get to control how you you deliver it and how you put it up. But with on stage there's nowhere to hide. People are just watching you fail, people are watching you bomb, people are watching you. It's so I think that's my favorite part about comedy because you can't hide. If it's not funny, you have to go and find a way to make it funny. If it's funny, people will laugh. Ni kama tu kujaibisha. It's just there's no hiding.
Okay, but keep nini. So watu wakitaka kukufollow nini your work?
So I have a channel that is like my label of love. It's called Fake Work with Justine. I do daily videos on like Kenyan news and just like satirize them and like try and make them as funny so people consume information without overwhelming them. It's called Fake Work with Justine, so you can watch that. I'm not trying to be woke or anything, I'm trying to be funny. So
okay, because maybe vile naonaga fake work I always assumed you unaenjoy watu wa work, but me notice uko work
Niko but I'm training you online because like
it's hata tumerudi kwa discussion tena, but it's just there's this girl Jess Hilarious, you know her, the comedian. She's the one who said I've add it up to my ovaries with I may have nini, because like the fact wanaanza kusema they're the same as nini, iko like no, our struggle is very different. And I think she was actually supported by American women, and people didn't understand that because dudes are still dudes. Now the fact ushaonaga this like Paul nimekurudisha kwa hii conversation, but it's taken me back to like one of my biggest worries about raising a girl is it's going to take a lot of convincing to convince my daughter that teenage boy does not have her best interest at heart. Like a teenage boy cannot be trusted. It's going to take a certain level of, you know, and the same thing nyinyi saizi mna notice like si wati ni machali tu bado wako tuna ujinga za machali because ndio dem afsema hivyo, na apparently madem wamekubaliana naye because kai like you find a dude wakes up today anasema yeye ni dem, kesho anaingia kwa ring anatandika dem. Mimi niki identify that hata niamue kuwa dem kesho siwezi chapa dem, siwezi, just not in me. So umse anachapa dem na ana-identify ka dem na yeye ni chali, ni dem kwako like mademu anatandikwa and end up hosi because your work, you're not fake work.
I am actually very kuna vitu zenye kuna opinions mi ujiholdia because again I don't have enough information
ndio nakuuliza zizi enough information uone kubali saizi mimi ni identify kama dem. Mimi na wewe tunafaa kwa na cat fight. You don't see I'll have advantages.
I think assumption ni it's most men are waking up and being like I identify as a woman now instead of this is someone who does not know, like ana conflate a lot of things inside for them to be able to start identifying as. I think that's mostly the issue. Hata ya trans women in sports, I am so confused about a lot of the conversation because hata when there was one lady who was at the Trevor Noah Daily Show one of the times akim interview about like trans women in women's sports and how does that work nini. And when I was listening to that conversation, it felt very defensive. So I was like, hata mi niko more confused nikitoka hapa than when I came here. Kuna watu wenye hata mi sielewi how to...
Because Omanyala nizamka kesho, aseme na identify ka dem, alafu ibidi, with the rules zina happen saizi states. If Omanyala woke up tomorrow, na aseme yeye ni dem, amekubaliwa kukimbia na nyinyi. Omanyala amekubaliwa.
Kwa nini hiyo ita work? Kwa sababu the whole men identifying as women and being in sports ilianza kitambo. There's a woman mwenye alikimbianga I think the 1500 meter race kitambo na mwenye alikimbia among the first marathons. She got into so much trouble. They had to undress her because she didn't look like... She was not very female presenting.
Ukapata nini?
She's a woman. She's a full woman. It's just like she has like the same situation na kina Caster.
Na Negisa. But they ulikuwa naitwa Annette Negisa, the Ugandan one that you're looking for.
It's getting to a point where we think just because...
How ni victims of racism more than anything?
Ndo ninasema...
That's racism.
No, that woman was white. Hata the famous Billie Jean King, she's been subject to your kind of controversy. It's like, oh, she's not a woman presenting nini. My
But
favorite athlete ever in the world, Serena Williams, has been amepitia message, you know, like it's kind of racism, alafu na hiyo kitu ya like, oh, maybe she's like one of those
but unaona ni madem au ni madem, lakini sasa mtu amekuja na nyama
ndo ninasema
inaweza kuwa weighed.
Do you know how as hard as it is for like women when wako kwa hiyo, like women who are already women being in those spaces and being allowed to compete is already hard. So trans women wakikuja kwa hiyo space, there's no way
but states wanaanza
Kipyegon alishinda easy the last when she broke the second world record. Nilikuwa nasoma comments and there was someone who was already we have to make sure that she's a woman first. Ndo mtu akaandika, oh, she has a baby. Ako like, oh, I thought it's one of those trans women things. And I'm like, that's so bad. Because hata regular women can't
wanaenda
compete.
Kujajiwa juu ya hao wengine. That's why mi niko na shida na hiyo side ingine. Pole kama nimefanya.
No, I'm just saying like
it's
very hard for me to have these conversations kwa sababu na feel ni kama na weigh in on kitu yenye.
You have enough information.
Do I don't have enough. Okay. Nitakutumia like a link like a science nini ya cultures za Africa zenye zilikuwa na all these different
as long as
zenye watu walikuwa wanatitiwa a certain way.
Najua hata even ndio nikwambia
it was normal
did you get that
the Sumerian
ni so it's them ni
Sumerian
they decide. So if they have strictly girls, they'll choose one girl and you'll enjoy all the privileges because hauoshi hauko umekaa tu chini, so umevalishwa trouser umekaa tu chini kila madema na cause nini you are literally given traditional female roles if you're a girl. So try and imagine you're a dude and then now you're lazima ushedasta ama bro wengine wako like so I understand that exists. And need so my problem is na feel kasa hizi states wanai force on everyone and hapo ndio niko na shida na hiyo story but iza kan nimefanya
na I hear you. I just don't think vile tunaiona kwa TV ndo vile na work in real life. I think more people wanauliwa, more people wanakuwa subjected to kind of harassment kwa sababu ya hiyo fear ya mtoto wangu hizi cheza sport kwa sababu now there's like a boy replacing her.
Mimi kile nasema ni kunafaa kuwa na sport saa yao achikizisemwe kuna
men,
like sa kunafaa kuwa na men, women alafu trans. So trans inakuwa kama ni trans women inakuwa ni au madudes walinini kama madem wa compete against hao wenyewe kwa wenyewe. Alafu madem walinini kama maboy hao wenyewe kwa wenyewe. Nacheki kuzama madem wana identify kama boy wakikuja hii side yetu tunawashinda.
No, there's like a regional inaitwa nini? There's this fighting sport. So like a trans kid mwenye nini boy ameshinda consecutive years.
Amekuwa kichapa boy real. Tila tapata na kiboy kitamtandika. Alafu kwa boy kasi hivyo ama boy pia wanamuapproach wakijua ni dem. So anaogopa. Unajua ile design. Like mimi na heshimu madem design. Nikisikia gati kuna Charlie ana identify ka dem amechapa dem niko like msako anapenda kuna like kuna ile tu like azi let me just walk away because I know I'm winning this one. It's like in a punch dem na that's always have kwenda jela like that this wajai kitu nasema it's not hypothetical it's happened. Like Charlie ana identify kama paka I noticed people started making jokes hivyo at right now dem akiku offend it was someone just making a joke just to show how ridiculous his story iko tidema kikuoffend unasema like for this next 5 minutes I'm identifying as a woman unamtandika alafu you go back to
come back to reality.
Yeah, it's just wrong.
So I heard it,
so leo tumekuwa fake work. So
you make me have conversations and most of the times when I avoid because like I just don't know what to say.
But it's an econ so we talk about everything. So look out for Justin anakuaga kwa hizo comedy clubs anakuaga kibao. So is it still same Tuesday iko number 7 ama did the days change?
Number 7 was shut down but we have Wednesdays craft Westlands.
Okay.
Thursdays hata Thursdays craft Westlands juu maandamano imethrow off stuff a little bit and then Friday fit kitchen Lavington.
So nini ilisha pia so number 7 ilifungwa why I thought it was profit ama iko inajaa Tuesdays peke yake
ilikonga Tuesdays peke yake but then like our contract ya kuperform hapo it ran out because they had like a cocktails hour nini so they had to flip it and then we couldn't go back because of the other new dates
but it's still
places.
But number 7 still exists
number 7 as the club still exists.
Okay. Na ile club ya Wahindi ilikuwa on Thursdays kwa na Indian food what was it called?
I think that one really shut down. But like there's
something you pay shut down.
Mayura it shut down.
Like the comedy thing shut down.
Yeah, they shut down the comedy thing. They had to find a different venue.
Poleni you people are going through what we went through as hip hop like kutry kupush hip hop hapa Kenya kitambo jo ilikuwa shida but I'd say you're still doing much better than hip hop ever did so that's also a beautiful thing so look out look out for you ukiwa Kenya just walk around watch some comedy ukiwa wale wasa wanapenda kucomplain juu kila kitu toa hiyo kijiti kwa rasa inafanya ukai vizuri so imekuwa ni 198 kama kawaida like subscribe hit the notification button tell a friend tukimalizia 198 tukisema Iko Nini.